Conflux, where rivers of the Bronx meet, is a comprehensive and extensive design imaginary that addresses complex issues of megainfrastructures in underserved communities through the concept of rivers and intersections. By reinterpreting infrastructures of transportation, this project transforms the Cross Bronx Expressway (CBE) into a living river for people, cultures, and social vibrancy. It reconnects local communities as it courses through the urban fabric. The concept of rivers as a symbol of life and potential is expanded through the urban fabric. The concept of rivers as a symbol of life and potential is expanded into the Bronx River, flows of ecologies, in its rejuvenation and reintegration with a redesigned pedestrian-oriented CBE. The rivers further permeate into the surrounding neighborhoods through the web of tributaries and reimagination of various key blocks around the CBE's point of intersection with the Bronx River, which serves as a feature point, conflux of all different flows, the Bronx Eye. Robust and dynamic spatial, programmatic, and ecological design narratives bring about social inclusion and equity, but also build resiliency and respond to climate change impacts and ideals of sustainability. Located at the intersection between the Cross Bronx Expressway (CBE) and the Bronx River, this project attempts to address the multi-layered and complex urban issues that were related to, raised, and escalated from the CBE paralleled with the Bronx River's historic degradation. From environmental injustice, segregation of local communities, urban heat island effects, urban flooding, and drainage issues, to lack of ecological diversification, cultural and social segmentations, as well as open space disinvestments, the design uses the concept of rivers and tributaries to bring about comprehensive and extensive spatial transformations that begin to tackle all these interrelated issues. Through the reinterpretation of transportation as infrastructure, CBE is reimagined as a river for the flow of people, and the Bronx River as the flow of ecologies and hydrologies. These two corridors of flows are used as anchors of the larger regional breadth of interventions to situate and frame the project's ambition of creating a vastly different future for the surrounding communities and overall urban fabrics of the Bronx. From the historic unfolding, the parallels between the evolution of CBE, its influence on local communities, the cultural trends around the neighborhoods, and the Bronx River's changing orientations, past floodplains, and wetland distributions were examined, which hints at the rich and dynamic histories inherited in the area. As for the hydrologic characteristics of the site, not only the river flood zones were investigated, but also the incidents of street stormwater flooding and trash accumulation in the Bronx River were visualized in recognition of climate change impacts of extreme weather. In terms of ecology, beyond the distribution of common plant and animal species within the study area, the street tree network of the area was also extracted, revealing clusters of data on healthy trees pointing to the need of urban ecological enhancements. There were also identifications of invasives concentration around the river edge. As for the local socio-economic dynamics, most of the residents are Hispanic or Black. The minorities become the majority. From mapping several layers of thresholds, it is understood there is a significant concentration of people with disabilities. This area is mostly populated with young residents, and there is a general trend of the high poverty rate and unemployment, which reflects a higher crime rate index. There are clusters of institutions and schools within the proximity, which are mostly public schools. Infrastructural networks investigation look beyond a scattering of limited bike lanes and traffic-induced pedestrian hazards, but also at how many areas indicate relatively high percentages of workers commuting for more than an hour to work, as well as areas with high reliance on public transport to understand the potential in improving mobility. Environmental investigations reveal evidence of the heat island effect in the area, but most importantly, noise pollution and the critical health issues of asthma rates along the expressway. Sectional understanding of the CBE reveals the spatial dynamics of the massive highway and surrounding land uses, as well as giving dimensions to the extent and magnitude of infrastructural disturbance to the surrounding communities. The disconnection is apparent. As one unfolds the complexities of numerous systems and armatures around the site, it is recognized that the site is where all these living networks overlap with each other. It is a place of intersections and conflicts. Turning back to the Bronx River, the expressway was perceived from a different angle, as a river of people, and these systems as invisible streams that intertwine with each other. The motif was formulated to leverage such a unique confluence, the central axis, and generate new opportunities. It is the idea that people can travel, sail, through these rivers, that it is a journey of many happenings, that it is an experience. Through the four key infrastructure systems of transportation, water, recreation, and energy, the existing Bronx River and the CBE are massaged and shaped as a gateway to change. The flows that course through the rivers and the expanded tributaries are then defined as water, transportation and circulation, recreation and programming, energy and power, and ecology. These flows of design topologies would be interconnected and facilitate a web of interventions that respond to the different layers of issues revealed from site analysis and provide diverse spatial experiences. Across the redesigned CPE, numerous pocket spaces are created on an elevated deck and opened up to the ground level. Organic morphologies are used to strengthen the sense of fluidity and flow, which targets walkability enhancements. Various terraces, lawn pockets, and garden spaces allow for a range of activities and events to be held such that it not only serves to reconnect segregated communities in terms of transportation and accessibility, but there is also an emphasis on the programmatic rejuvenation and cultural exchange, building social identities through the substantial design. By enhancing bike lanes and bus routes, the CBE is also proposed to transition from car-oriented to a bus artery, with reduced lanes for ground activation, and form a semi-underground shopping district that targets local businesses. Across different segments of the CBE, various land uses are proposed according to its immediate surrounding context, i.e. more play and learn oriented for sections next to schools. The robust planting also serves to enhance urban biodiversity and builds ecological corridors to the Bronx River. Solar-powered lighting and stormwater management systems embedded in the CPE, which collects localized runoff from surrounding neighborhoods, showcase the design's sustainable potential and in building resilience, preparing for climate change impacts. The Bronx Eye, as the project climax, is situated at the intersecting point between the CPE and the Bronx River and takes inspiration from the swirling pool from the conflux of flows, transforming and reinterpreting massive highway roundabouts into a featured destination for sightseeing, exhibition, and design innovations. The bottom, which connects to the Bronx River, is a dense riverine forest that serves as an ecological hotspot, while the elevated rings provide information panels for the many different points of interest in the neighborhoods. The Bronx River, as the other key water course, focuses largely on ecological enhancements and building resiliency, preparing for climate change adaptation, targeting extreme weather and potential riverine flooding, with much of the recreational facilities water enhanced and floodable. The addition of wetland patches and planted terraces provides various microhabitats for animals and strengthens species richness in the area. These two key rivers are expanded out in the form of tributaries that varies in conditions and, like the key rivers, embody different values depending on locations of sustainability, resiliency, climate change, on top of reconnecting communities and building identities. The tributaries travel through in connecting underused parking lots and vacant lots and form an extensive network of open space. Beyond the capping and design of the Bronx riverfront and enhancement of the existing Starlight Park, 8 key blocks are also transformed depending on their current use and surrounding land uses. The Innovation Park is built on top of a massive storage facility for the local bus lines and showcases solar power generation and energy playscapes, technologies on sustainable development. The Family Square, on the other hand, activates the roofs of stores surrounding a large parking lot as outdoor dining, while permeable pavement systems and planted islands are integrated into the parking lot itself. Rock Garden Residence is enhanced in its playground features, while the community hub focuses on the reinvigoration of the local housing estates. Riverside Avenue acts as a transitioning park corridor to the riverfront. The Loop demonstrates enhancement efforts for a ring of underused pocket open spaces and parks linked through the tributaries. The Art and Playgrounds provide sensorial playscapes for local schools as well as a platform for art exhibitions. Discovery District integrates educational potentials in introducing urban ecologies and stormwater management processes for students and provide opportunities for outdoor classrooms. Altogether, the project extends its influence across scales and typologies to bring about radical and substantial changes, embracing a new future for the Bronx communities. Putting past current scars of urbanization, development, and impacts from the CBE, it provides an ambitious imaginary for the interrogation and rethinking of mega infrastructures.